Sunjin tried to explain that he just needed to talk to Minsu, but her father refused to listen. He ordered him to leave and never show up at their home or restaurant again. Hurt, Sunjin walked out. In the bathroom, Minsu stood deep in thought. Seeing Sunjin again had stirred emotions within her. When he grabbed her hand, she had felt an overwhelming urge to move closer to him, to embrace him. However, she could not ignore what he had done, especially the fact that he was married to someone else. Later that night, as Minsu and her father locked up the restaurant, they were surprised to see Sunjin standing beside his car outside. Her father, frustrated, wondered if he had lost his mind. As they walked toward their own car, Sunjin approached them again, still pleading for a chance to talk to Minsu. Without acknowledging him, she got into the car. Her father told Sunjin he was wasting his time and should go home before getting into the car himself and driving off. That evening, as Minsu had dinner with her family, her mother mentioned that Sunjin had been waiting outside their yard for a while. Concerned, she suggested they invite him in for a meal, assuming he must be hungry. However, Minsu's father firmly refused, stating that Sunjin did not deserve to sit at the same table as them. Minsu sat quietly, feeling conflicted. Despite ignoring him, she was worried about him. He had followed her around all day, desperately trying to talk to her. She wondered if he was okay, if he was feeling cold outside in the chilly weather. Regardless of how much she tried to suppress it, she still yearned for him. Meanwhile, in his car, Sunjin turned on the heat to keep himself warm. He glanced at his phone, which was filled with missed calls from his father, his sister, Kim, and his mother. Ignoring them, he placed the phone aside, already knowing why they were looking for him. As he sat there hoping Minsu would come outside, he eventually fell asleep. Back inside the house, Minsu lay awake, unable to sleep. The thought of Sunjin still waiting outside drove her crazy. She contemplated whether she should go out and see him or simply ignore him and go to sleep. However, her pride kept her from making a decision. As dawn approached, a knock on Sunjin's car window startled him awake. To his surprise, it was Minsu's father. He instructed Sunjin to follow him to the restaurant. Without hesitation, Sunjin agreed, grateful for the opportunity. At the empty restaurant, Sunjin sat waiting, wondering why Minsu's father had suddenly changed his mind. He was relieved to at least have a chance to talk. Soon, Minsu's father returned with food and bottles of beer. He placed them on the table and sat next to Sunjin, telling him to help himself. As Sunjin ate, Minsu's father apologized for hitting him earlier, explaining that he had acted out of anger after witnessing his daughter suffer. He expressed his protectiveness over Minsu and his resentment toward the person who had hurt her. Sunjin admitted that he deserved the punch, and probably more for what he had done. He insisted that he loved Minsu and only wanted to be with her, but his family circumstances had torn them apart. Minsu's father reminded him that Minsu was different. He wanted her to be with someone who would protect her no matter the circumstances. He questioned whether Sunjin would once again choose his family over her if faced with the same dilemma in the future. Sunjin assured him that it would never happen again. Being with Minsu had changed him, teaching him what it truly meant to be a man. He vowed to protect her for the rest of his life if given another chance. Minsu's father interrupted, pointing out that Sunjin was married. Sunjin immediately denied it, stating that he had not gone through with the marriage. Before he could explain further, Minsu's father stopped him, saying that he owed that explanation to Minsu, not him. He made it clear that he would not stand in the way of them meeting, but if Minsu chose not to see him, Sunjin would have to respect her decision. Relieved, Sunjin thanked him, promising that he would not let either of them down. Minsu's father stood up, advising him to eat before he closed the restaurant. With that, he walked away, leaving Sunjin sitting there, filled with newfound hope